Hi there, I'm Nancy Herring from Now We're Cooking. It's Tuesday and it's time for tips, tricks, and treats. Today I'm going to make biscuits. Biscuits are not something that I grew up making or eating. They're pretty dang good though, and this recipe is so easy and so fast that it's a good thing if you need something special for breakfast over holiday time, or you want a different kind of bread with your Thanksgiving dinner. It's just easy to do. So, they're called swimming in butter biscuits because that's basically what they are. You don't mix the fat with the flour. You take your stick of melted butter, which I melted in the microwave. You can melt it in a pan on the stove or in the microwave, but it's a stick of butter. And what you want to do is to kind of swirl your pan around and make sure that some butter gets on the sides. It's not going to stay on the sides, but if there's a little butter on the sides, that's going to make it less chance to stick. So there's my butter. In the bowl, I have 2.5 cups of all-purpose flour. I've got 4 teaspoons of granulated sugar. I've got 1.5 teaspoons of kosher salt. I've got a teaspoon of baking soda and a tablespoon of baking powder. So all the dry ingredients, and you just want to whisk that together. If you wanted to make these a savory biscuit, you could add some herbs at this time, some dried herbs or something like that, but we're going for plain. So, let me get a little plate. Then I'm going to take my buttermilk. I have 1.5 cups of cold buttermilk. This is a time where I did buy buttermilk. Sometimes I'll take milk and add some vinegar to it, but in this case I wanted true buttermilk. And I want to mix this up. All I'm looking for, they're calling it a dough, but it's really kind of a shaggy mixture. You'll notice that my bowl is big. I truly believe in mixing in the biggest bowl you've got practically, because I don't want to worry about things spilling or me throwing flour on outside or anything. So if you have a larger bowl than you think you might need, it's a good thing to use it. All I'm looking for is to be sure that all the flour is incorporated. There's no hidden pockets of flour. It's what they call a shaggy dough. It's not something that you could roll out. A lot of biscuit dough you're going to roll out. This is not one of those. So I just want to keep mixing. And there's still some little pockets of flour. Get those rolled in. But time-wise, the ingredients, if you bake it all, these are ingredients that you would have on hand. Baking powder, baking soda, salt, flour. Buttermilk's the only thing that you might, it's not something I keep. I have about 3 recipes that I use buttermilk for. And when I have buttermilk, I get busy and do all of those things. So, I don't see too much of anything except a shaggy dough going on here. So, what I want to do now is I'm going to put it in I'm going to let it swim in the butter. So to that end, I'm going to drop it in and just make sure I don't want any little pockets hiding on me. Okay. And I'm going to use my spatula and my hands to spread this out in the pan. This is a 9x9 pan. Interestingly enough, the recipe called for an 8x8 pan, but then you want to divide it into 9x9 inch biscuits. So 9x9 it is. But if you have a square cake pan, I think it would work in either size. What I'm going to do is do a little mushing with my spatula, and then I'm going to put a little water on my hands and dampen them and press down. What I want to happen is I want the dough to reach the sides of the pan. And the butter's going to spill over, and that's okay. That's why they're swimming in butter. So I'm going to do that with my spatula. Now I want to get my hands wet. And I just want to press and press and press. I want it somewhat level, but more than anything, I want it to fill the pan. So if some butter blurps over the edge, it's supposed to. It's doing a nosedive into the batter and the butter swimming with each other. Okay, a little bit in the corners, still need to get in the corners. And there goes the butter swimming over the top. So again, it's flat. It's gonna puff because it has baking soda and baking powder in it. And push it into the corners. So pretty good in the corners. Little teeny bit on the edges, but I'm gonna, it's like massaging your dough. I'm giving my dough a little spa treatment here. Okay. Now the corners. All right. So now, before I bake them, I want to score the dough. So that I'm going to use a plastic dough scraper. This is one of my favorite tools in the kitchen because this is a nonstick pan and I don't want to cut into the pan. But I'm going to divide it into 9. So I need 2 this direction and 2 this direction. I'm going to put it in a 400-degree oven and it cooks for about 25 minutes. And I'm just going to tap those edges down a little bit more. When it comes out of the oven, it will be very much more puffed and the butter will be absorbed. And then as soon as it comes out of the oven, still in the pan, I'm going to take my edge and cut them again. So these are going in the oven. And then magically, I'm going to show you a pan of them. But equally magic is that we ate quite a few of them because they were darn good. So this is what's left of our first batch. I truly would cut them smaller. This was a big biscuit for me, but you could cut them before you bake them or after you bake them. But the butter was all absorbed. They come out super easy from the pan, and I just took that same straight edge and scored it when it came out of the pan. So they're thick, they're super buttery. We were using butter on top of them. We were putting jelly on top of them. These are a good size if you wanted to, if you had ham and wanted to make a little ham biscuit sandwich or something. These are a great size for that. But super easy. I didn't have to blend the fat, being butter or shortening, into the flour. All the butter goes on at the end, and the dough is just a matter of mixing it up with buttermilk and putting it in the pan and baking it. So those are called butter swim biscuits. I suggest you make them just for fun, or make them for breakfast, or make them for Thanksgiving. Now We're Cooking is open 11 to 4 every day now until Thanksgiving. That means Sundays. And on Fridays, we're still going to do the 4 to 6 gadget sample, whatever kind of time you want to call it. So if you can't come during the 11 to 4 hours, on Friday we will be open until 6, and we will be open Sundays now. So figure out your Thanksgiving menu, figure out what kind of items you need to get ready for Thanksgiving, and it is certainly not too early to be thinking about Christmas. So come visit Now We're Cooking, try some butter swim biscuits. I thank you for watching, and I hope to see you again. Bye now.